Hello and welcome. Today I want to share something practical, yet surprisingly uplifting, how I managed to reduce my heating bill, and how you can too, with senior-friendly tips that work in UK homes. If you're retired or just a bit worried about rising energy costs, these ideas will help you keep cozy without breaking the bank. Now, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe if you'd like regular, gentle advice for your home and wallet. And please give this video a thumbs up if you find it useful. It helps the whole community here. So, let's settle in. I'll share not only tips, but my own stories and those from fellow pensioners, plus how UK experts handle heating costs. You know, a few winters ago, my energy bills felt out of control. I'd always kept the house warm, not wanting to risk chills. But when costs rose, I had to rethink things. I started by checking my thermostat. Experts recommend setting it to a steady 18 degrees Celsius for most older people. It's enough to keep comfortable and safe, but not waste energy. It's tempting to crank up the temperature, but every degree higher can add up. I found that lowering it by just 1 degree made a difference, nearly 10% saved on my bill, the government says. Next, I thought about where the heat was actually going. Drafts are sneaky. Cold air slips under doors and through old window frames. A neighbor told me about draft excluders, and for a few pounds, I blocked up gaps around the front door and windows. Heavy curtains helped too. Closing them at dusk keeps warmth inside. I added thermal liners to my existing curtains, which was much cheaper than buying new ones. It's remarkable how much cozier the room felt after dark. One winter afternoon, I realized I was heating rooms I rarely used. So I started turning radiators off in the spare bedroom and hallway. Experts suggest focusing your heating in the rooms you actually spend time in and keeping unused areas cooler. Zone heating, isn't that a modern phrase? Worked for me, and my living room always felt snug. And here's a tip from my friend Joan, who lives alone. She says, heat the person, not the space. Instead of keeping the house hot, wear layers indoors, comfortable thermals, jumpers, thick socks. I even found that wearing slippers with a good grip kept my feet warm and safer moving about. Extra bedding helps too, a higher tall duvet, or even just keeping an extra blanket on hand for the coldest nights. One day I heard someone mention bleeding radiators. I hadn't a clue what it meant. Turns out, trapped air can make radiators work less efficiently. So I learned to bleed them using a simple key. Bit fiddly, but it's worth it. My radiators warmed up faster and more evenly. I now check my boiler each autumn, making sure it's working well. If your boiler is over 10 years old, it might be worth exploring an upgrade. Government grants sometimes cover a large part of the cost for pensioners. New models use far less energy. Don't forget to use timers. Setting your heating to come on before you wake and switch off after bedtime means you're not heating the house unnecessarily. My timer has made my bill lower, and I never wake up chilly. I also optimize my boiler's flow temperature. Lowering it a little means less wasted. Heat the money-saving expert website and Age UK both mention this trick. Now, many of us like a hot bath, but swapping just one bath for a quick shower each week uses much less water and energy. I timed myself. 4 minutes is plenty. And a nice, warm electric blanket is safer and far less costly than leaving the heating on overnight. Another tip is to batch cook meals, using the oven only when necessary. Air fryers and microwaves save energy compared to full ovens. Cooking once and reheating also keeps the kitchen warm for a while. Letting in sunshine also works. On clear winter days, open the curtains wide to let sunlight naturally heat up the room. But remember to close curtains when the sun goes down to keep the warmth inside. To prevent damp whilst keeping bills low, I dry washing outdoors when possible, or hang clothes inside with good ventilation. If you use a dehumidifier, it's more energy efficient than running a tumble dryer all day. Financial assistance makes a real difference. If you're of pension age, you may be eligible for winter fuel payments or cold weather payments from the government. These are automatic for many pensioners, but check your eligibilities. Some benefits require you to contact your energy supplier or local council. There's also the Affordable Warmth Scheme, home insulation grants, and even hardship support from energy companies. Don't hesitate to ask Citizens Advice or Age UK for help. They're there for you. Let's not forget maintaining and insulating our homes. Pipe insulation, for example, helps keep hot water hot for longer, meaning you can set the heating lower and still have warmth. If your windows are old, secondary glazing, or even clear cling film can block drafts cheaply. Stormproofing, brickwork, and doors helps too, and is easier than it sounds. If you rent, you might get help from your council or landlord. Many local authorities support seniors with insulation and heating upgrades. A big hero for energy savings has been my smart meter. It lets me see exactly how much I am spending on gas and electricity as I use them. I was surprised how much little changes made a big difference. Newer heating controls and thermostatic radiator valves are worth considering. They let you adjust heat room by room, and modern models are very user-friendly. Above all, remember, saving on heating doesn't mean compromising safety or comfort. The World Health Organization recommends always keeping indoor temperature above 18 degrees Celsius, especially for older adults. If ever you feel cold and worried, reach out to someone locally. Staying warm is a health priority. Now, before I wrap up our time together, I want to leave you with a simple but heartfelt invitation. Each of us has something valuable to share about keeping heating costs down and staying warm throughout the long British winter. Sometimes it's a thoughtful tip passed down in the family. Other times it's a small habit that's made a big difference in our own lives. Is there a particular blanket you reach for that always brings comfort? Or a jumper that stood the test of time year after year? Maybe you have a hot water bottle ritual in the evening, or memories of clever tricks your parents or grandparents used to keep the cold away. Some folks rely on making hearty soups. Others have discovered ways to insulate their homes with old-fashioned draft excluders or foam strips on window frames. Perhaps you've discovered the joy of sharing warmth with others, inviting a neighbor for tea so you both use less heating, or joining a club at the local community center to keep spirits high and homes bright. Even simply remembering to set your thermostat wisely, or switching curtains and doors to lock warmth where you need it, can transform your month and your mood. Every little step matters, and by sharing your practical advice or cherished routine down in the comments below, you might light a path for someone else who's struggling. Think of it as passing on kindness. Your words may reach someone who feels alone, who never knew about these clever methods, or who just needs a gentle smile today. It's powerful what a comment can do. Your story might be the spark that helps someone save money, stay warmer, or simply feel cared for. And if you found today's video helpful, whether it's reminded you of an old practice or given you new ideas, I warmly invite you to give it a like. That little click does more than you might realize. It means that more seniors across Britain can discover these tips, feel supported, and join our growing circle of practical advice and caring friendship. Sometimes, being part of a helpful community is as comforting as a hot cup of tea. Don't forget to subscribe. Each week, we bring more gentle, friendly ideas designed just for seniors in Britain. From energy-saving advice and household wisdom, to heartfelt stories, practical tips for health, and clever ways to stretch the pension a bit further. You'll always find something here to make life easier, happier, and above all, cozier. Every subscriber makes our community stronger, so please consider joining us. And never miss out on new ways to brighten your days and safeguard your comfort. I want to thank you sincerely for spending these precious moments with me. In a world that sometimes feels too fast, too busy, too uncertain, we can find hope and warmth simply by sharing with one another. Whether we exchange tips on saving energy or stories of old, each connection we make helps build a community where everyone's voice matters, no matter their age. May your days ahead be filled with genuine warmth, a home that holds in its heat, a body kept snug by trusted layers, and a heart held softly by kindness from your friends, family, and even strangers you've never met. May you wake each morning with the reassurance of comfort and security, knowing that you've done all you can to look after yourself and those you love. And may your nights be restful, wrapped in layers of peace and the gentle knowledge that with each thoughtful step, You are protecting both your health and your budget. And finally, never forget, you are not alone on this journey. Every word you share, every bit of wisdom you pass down, strengthens not only yourself, but the entire tapestry of older Britons finding hope and resilience together. Thank you truly, from my heart, for being here. May you always feel safe, warm, and surrounded by people who care. Take the greatest care of yourself. And until we meet again in another video, may your days be bright and your home ever welcoming.